Hi everyone, welcome back to the Homespun Yak. Well, Kyle, you want you want to talk about what we were just talking
Oh,
about?
yeah. Well, we were just talking about, in case you've forgotten,
Our,
Flat Earth Dave
our
has
celebrity
reached out.
guest.
Yeah, our very first celebrity guest. And shockingly, it's a Flat Earth guy. It's just the best we can do at the moment. So bear with us. But he got back to us about uh, doing a podcast later this month. He said he doesn't do debates, just a fun conversation about flat Earth.
So,
Just something light, fun. We lead the conversation, is what he said. And then it would just take it from there for an hour. So I don't exactly know how it's going to go. I don't know if we're going to be regretting this decision after it all happens, because he's going to advertise on his social media, whatever, about us being on. And I just worry.
I
And I
forgot
just
about
worry
that.
that we will be looped in. He hasn't done it yet, but I just wonder, will we be looped into the flat Earth group? Obviously, we're not flat earthers, but he doesn't want to debate. Not that we wanted to debate this guy into oblivion, but
Sure.
clearly we don't believe in it. So it's like we're not going to be going along just like, oh, tell us a little bit more about the ice wall. I think you've almost got me now.
That's
So
that's gonna go well.
I
It's
don't
gonna go
know.
well with my education.
Yeah.
Scientist, flat earther.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, he seems like a super nice guy, in just my dealings with him with
Yeah.
via email, but
Mm.
I just don't know what. I know we don't believe in flat Earth. We never will, but I just don't know if we have enough
Well, hold on, Kyle.
questions.
I mean, don't want to say
Well, we haven't
never
talked to him.
will.
Yeah, okay. We just I don't know. We would love some suggestions on how to make this fun, how to make it,
Yeah.
still a good conversation, even though we disagree with everything he's gonna say, most likely. But maybe just like a background, like how did you find yourself as the guy?
Now that I would actually be really interested in. That I am
Yeah,
interested in. How he became Flat Earth Dave. When was the revelation? Was this
yeah,
always the case? Uh, what else? I'd be interested in the North Carolina conference on flat Earth, the biggest, I believe, the biggest conference in the world,
yeah.
held
Okay,
in North
I didn't know
Carolina.
that.
And I don't know. Probably, I'll compile a series of questions, just out of
Just to have,
curiosity's
yeah,
sake. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Just like what's the movement? What's it like right now?
What do you
Are
think about the
people's
Newtonian laws of gravity? How can you
Yeah, hit him with
reconcile
a
a flat Earth with?
yeah, hit him with a few round Earth questions.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
how, how do you reconcile this?
Yeah, yeah. Although I don't know if that's the in the debating format, if we're even allowed to ask
Right.
any sort of probing questions that might put him in a position. Well, regardless.
We'll
So,
try.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll
It's
let
not going to
him.
be live, so
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Little does he know.
yeah.
No. No. That would. I mean, genuinely, if we genuinely had an audience, like a big audience, I would totally do that live and just have people chat in because I can see that
Hmm.
on the screen on the program. So, and then I can actually have that show up on screen live with us, so that we'd be able to just have him answer questions from the audience. But unfortunately, I don't think that we've got quite a large enough audience for that.
Oh no, we don't.
No.
I can answer that now. We do not.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's something to look forward to. I am incredibly interested. I am. I truly am. And it's thanks to Kyle for plugging us up on this one because this is going to be
Well,
really cool.
they reached out to us.
Oh,
So,
did they?
yeah, they
Oh,
reached out to us and they're like,
I don't
you know,
understand that. That doesn't.
I don't know. That's not, doesn't bode well for us, but maybe for people. I don't know. But this guy's, like I said before, he's been on some really big name
Yeah.
podcasts. Not
Yeah.
that
Right.
that means anything because we don't agree with him, but um, it's not just some guy. This is Flat Earth Dave. Okay.
Get it
But
right.
yeah, I think basically, if he's doing it via video, it's got to be Zoom, which I don't know if you have Zoom, but it's easy to create an
Oh
account,
yeah.
and you know he'd be able to edit and whatever, send the stuff to us, but we can figure that out later. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna figure those details out. Well, we'll figure those out off air. I don't want to bore
Yeah.
our massive audience with the details of that at the moment. But speaking of conspiracies, didn't you get your vaccine?
I did. I
Yeah.
did get the Moderna
Oh, you got
vaccine.
Moderna. I was gonna ask you. I don't know if I
I
even
did.
if I even did ask you which one it was. So, how was the experience? Did you turn green? Did your arm fall off?
No, basically just minor things, just a little bit of soreness in the arm for a couple days afterwards. Left ankle numbness, deafness in my right ear, liver failure, a little bit of cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
can't understand English anymore. Um,
We're using a
and
translation
I'm
service
now,
right now.
yeah,
People
and I'm
people will be
a
able to hear.
globalist. Yeah, now I'm a globalist elite.
Oh wow.
Um,
What is that?
well, I work for them. I'm a
Oh,
slave for them now.
okay.
Um,
Microchipped as well.
yeah, oh, definitely. They monitor my every move and action. But otherwise, I mean, it was pretty smooth.
Yeah,
It was a pretty easy transition.
yeah, sounds good. Damn.
Yeah,
Okay. So that, but
I
then
no
that.
longer have an identity. But go
Well, in this day and age, it's probably a good thing.
yeah,
Then you can distance yourself from being a cisgendered white male.
that's true. That's
Well,
true. That's
that's
one
a,
of the positive benefits of this
yeah,
vaccine
yeah,
is that you become gender neutral.
exactly. Until a company defines it for you. Um,
Yeah.
so that means that you're going to have to get it again in 4 weeks, the booster, just to make sure that they've implanted you correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll have to get it in, yeah, I guess 4 weeks or whatever. But 4 weeks, I realized, is when I'll be in Myrtle Beach for Stuart Fisher's bachelor party. So
Okay.
I'll definitely be holding off on getting it until after I'm back. So I
I
can
see.
feel like even worse than I would have felt
Yeah.
had I not been on a bachelor party in the Redneck Riviera.
Okay, so you're gonna go to this bachelor party, and then when you come back, you're gonna get your second shot and feel like
Yeah,
death, double death.
right.
That's
Exactly.
that's good. That sounds
Yeah.
good. Well, I'm happy. That'll be an experience. Yeah, I know a few people that have gotten their 2 shots, although I think they've gotten Pfizer, and
Mm.
it's been eventful for them. Some people have gotten pretty sick. I mean, not I mean, moderately, as in like kind of minor flu-like symptoms, and other people have been completely unscathed. Like my boss got his
Mm.
second shot and felt completely fine. So who knows? I guess we'll see. We'll see how things turn out. But go get your shot, folks.
Yeah.
Do your
Walgreens.
do your duty.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Did your arm hurt at all? Any side effects on your end?
Oh, actually, yeah, pretty substantial. Well, okay, maybe not quite to the
Come
level
on.
that not quite to the level of yours, ankle soreness, but
Yeah.
that was the only one that was concerning based on the list that you gave me. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, hypersensitivity in my left ear. So while
Ah.
yours went away in the right ear,
Away
I
in the
became
right
highly
ear.
sensitive in
Oh,
my left ear.
wow.
Yeah. No, I actually got my arm was really sore to the point where I could barely lift it.
Oh, and that's
Um,
how I was. I was
yeah.
kind of alarmed. I'm like, do I even tell people about this? Because, like, I'm worried that they're going to be like, what are you talking about? But
Yeah.
everybody I've spoken to, they're like, it's been the most sore my arms felt after like a shot before.
Same. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'm
It
like, I
was,
couldn't
yeah.
even sleep on it,
Yeah,
like
same
on
here.
that side.
I
Like to
woke
the
up
touch, it
multiple
was like
times.
bruised,
Yeah.
it felt like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I woke up
that
multiple
can't be
times.
good.
No, yeah, I couldn't sleep either on that side. I tossed and turned for quite a while. Then the next day, I will say for the next like 48 hours, I was really tired, like really just
Yeah.
completely out of it. Could had a hard time thinking and all that. But other than that, it wasn't a huge deal. I'm starting to go bald, but um,
Hey,
I mean that's whatever.
just part of life.
W- You know, two in every one man goes bald by the age
By the
29.
standard of the
So
shot. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So there's the update, folks. We are vaccinated, or half vaccinated. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, speaking to that, the CDC just released. This is a public service announcement for
Oh, I
anybody
think
who
I
has
saw
not
this,
heard.
but yeah, tell everybody else.
Yeah, the CDC has now released their new guidelines for vaccinated folks. So Kyle and I, royalty.
Uh-huh.
Um, so
Not
they,
Meghan and Harry, but
no,
actual
not.
royalty, true royalty.
Yeah, yeah, where the attention really should be.
Not those
Um,
deserters.
to the crown. Oh man. Yeah, so the new recommendations are that vaccinated people can get together in small groups without masks and without socially distancing. Oh, and okay, is three things. I've got them right here. Let me quick rattle them off.
Mm.
One of them actually doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so visit with other fully vaccinated people indoors without wearing masks or staying 6 feet apart. Great. Okay, so you can get together with people that are
Yeah,
vaccinated, but need
but you
no
didn't need to
precautions.
tell me that at all.
Yeah.
That's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
CDC.
Then visit with unvaccinated people from one other household indoors without wearing masks or staying 6 feet apart if everyone in the other household is at low risk of severe disease.
Mm.
Okay, so fine. Then the third one, this is the one that gets me, is refrain from quarantine and testing if they do not have symptoms of COVID 19 after contact with someone who has COVID 19. So that one throws me off because I'm thinking, like, the whole idea is you can still spread it. Like, you have the vaccine, so you're protected, but you can still, like, have the virus and be spreading it to other people. So I don't understand the idea. Like, it's suddenly the script's just like been flipped around and we don't have to quarantine. We don't have to do any of that stuff like that. That doesn't make any sense to me because you can still spread it. So why the sudden change? CDC is in Biden's pocket. I mean, what? I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see all those rules, but I just wonder how many people are gonna like. I mean, obviously there are people who like live and die by CDC guidelines since last year,
Sure.
and they're like, I'm not gonna leave my house unless Dr. Fauci tells me to. Um, but it's just like, I mean, what's the point? I don't know. I just feel like the audacity for you to say, like, if you're vaccinated and someone else you know is vaccinated, you can now be in their presence without a mask. Like, oh, thank you for allowing me to do this. Like, so obvious. I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong
I
way.
got you. Yeah.
But the last one, they're saying that even if you've been vaccinated and you've been exposed to the virus, you don't need to quarantine or
Nope.
tell anybody,
Or get
basically,
tested.
or get tested. I mean, basically, or tell anybody at that point.
Yep.
If you
I
don't have
mean,
to quarantine, you're going out.
and you don't get tested.
Yeah.
I mean, why did things suddenly change? I'm genuinely curious about that.
Yeah, because they're preaching up and down, and I mean, this is true with any vaccine, I would imagine, is that you can still be a carrier
You can. That's what they've been saying.
and you can still spread it. Yeah.
Yep, that's what they've been saying. So it just doesn't make any sense. And I mean, obviously that's all going to make sense once the majority of the population has the vaccine. But for the time being, that seems completely nonsensical. So I don't really understand that whatsoever.
Hmm. Do you think there is some sort of political stuff with all this?
I sure hope not. I sure hope not because I I would it would make me shudder to think that a health and medicine institution that is based on science is going to lean in any one way. It shouldn't. It should just
No.
stick to the facts, stick to what is out there in terms of data, and do
Yeah.
nothing else. Be completely irrespective of any political opinion. So I don't know. I don't know. But obviously, I don't know a whole lot about the CDC. I know a decent amount about the NIH, and they are an independent body. But who knows? That's where Fauci is, or he's in one of the sects, one of the parts of the NIH.
Hmm.
But he's also working.
He's in one of the castles.
Yeah, yeah, he's in one
One
of
of
the
the
castles, one of the fiefdoms.
Yeah, King Squeak. Every time I see Fauci, I just think he's just that guy's a squeak of the week.
Squeak of the week. Dude, that's good. I like that a lot.
But yeah, you hope that they're not influenced politically. I guess you just look at the media and how they're, talking about COVID now as compared to, a month ago. And it's like, you got to give credit where credit's due in certain places, but it's just like, oh, Trump left and miraculously we're going to be able to move in a better direction. And maybe some of that's true based on how he might have handled certain things going forward if he were still president. But
Yeah, but if you
um,
could spread it right, like if you could spread it before Trump left, and then after Trump left, like you're suddenly saying that you don't need to get like that's so weird to me. That doesn't make any like I understand the other
yeah,
two
and people are
rules.
just like, yeah, it is what it is. Like,
Or
what's
I
not a
don't
big
even
deal?
understand the second rule to be honest with you, right? Because
What's the second rule?
if you're vaccinated, you can be in a household or you can be in contact with people that are unvaccinated in without 6 feet of distance without masks on. How does that make any sense to you? It
No, no, it
doesn't make
doesn't.
any sense to me because before, like it's specifically okay. Let me add one more thing. It's specifically for people that are low risk of like having severe
Mm.
symptoms. But wasn't that always the case? This entire fucking thing was about like that was my point in March. Like
Yeah,
the people
a
that
year
are
ago.
at high risk, they should isolate and they should be protected and like go have, all these different things to help them like through the situation. But the healthy people, They should just live their lives and continue to live their lives and just be cognizant of what's going on with
Right.
people that are more at risk. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Now they're saying, oh, yeah, if you're vaccinated. But again, that doesn't matter based off the information I know, at least, which I haven't looked at the data. But I mean, that's what they've been reporting everywhere, that if you're vaccinated, you can still spread it. So the vaccination doesn't change anything for anyone else, just you. So why are we
Yeah.
suddenly
A
okay
lot.
with contact, close contact with unvaccinated people if they are at low risk? Doesn't make
Yeah.
any
I don't
sense.
know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Imagine going
Doesn't have.
a whole year following the CDC guidelines. Then you get in contact with a person who's vaccinated and they give it to you.
Yeah. And you're like, you told me that I could do this now. Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. I just feel like, we learned a lot over the year, obviously, about this disease and about ourselves and isolation and about, different good and bad things. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of things we did were just over the top, overkill. We went too
Oh,
far
absolutely.
away, and too many people lost their jobs, lost their mental health,
A
you
lot.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I like, I'm vaccinated, or I will be fully vaccinated, I suppose, in a few weeks. So I'm going to just, I'll probably start seeing people that are also vaccinated, because why not, right? Like there's
Yeah,
zero reason why not.
that was the point. That was hopefully the point.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that the point was also, if you're good, then screw everybody else, basically.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And remember, this is after stories in March, April, May, all those months where you had these isolated New York Times stories and Washington Post stories of 33-year-old man really fit, almost dies, like has been in the hospital for a month and a half.
Hmm.
It's like these
Hmm.
like that would be a low risk individual, right? And now we're just like fuck it. Just
Yeah,
everybody get
you're
together.
basically, yeah, you're basically admitting that it's the flu.
That's I mean that it feels that way, the way that they're
Yeah.
going about it now. I don't get that. I'm incredulous. I'm really at a loss of it, like an explanation for how they can come to
Yeah.
this conclusion.
Yeah, you hope it's not political, that's for sure. And you just wonder what the rhetoric would be if Trump was still in. Not
Oh
saying
yeah.
that it would be worse or better, might be the exact same, but you're certainly not going to see as many negative articles on how, the Biden administration is handling really anything in comparison to the way that the media portrayed the Trump administration on a daily basis, not just with the coronavirus, but with basically anything and everything he did or said. And, with a lot of that was good reason because he brought it upon himself with a lot of childish and idiotic and ignorant statements on a daily basis. So obviously, sometimes it's well deserved, and a lot of times it was. But, there's been a huge shift in how the media is portrayed after his, you know, presidency and now during Biden, where it's just like Biden's dogs are doing this. Like, you're just reaching for stuff, and viewership on, mainstream news outlets is just tanking, plummeting. And you go on any major news network now, and you'll find at least two to three stories on Trump today. Just like, is he going to do this? Like, are we still blah, blah, blah? Is Trump going to make a comeback? And it's like, man, you guys cannot stop talking about him because you realize he was the one that made you guys money.
Yeah.
That's in a sick way, really.
I've got a great example of this. Somebody posted this on Facebook. It's the Washington Post, and this is the headline just like a day ago or 2 days ago, something like that. Biden stimulus showers money on Americans, sharply cutting poverty in defining move of presidency. Okay, so that's the headline for Biden.
Sure.
On the same topic about Trump, back in 2020, same place, Washington Post. Americans are hit by economic shocks as confusion stumbles undermine Trump administration's stimulus effort. It's like they're covering the exact same thing, the stimulus bill,
Yeah.
and they have two completely different headlines, and the interpretation of all Americans is that for Biden, everybody's like, yeah, great. And for Trump,
This is going to kill poverty in this country.
Yeah, exactly. And for Trump,
What a
it's
joke.
confusion, and everybody's like, I don't get it.
Is my money here? Is it? Like, what do I do when I get money?
Yeah. Is this a good thing? I don't know. Did Trump do the right thing in this situation? Like, it's,
Yeah, it became, even if it was a good thing, they couldn't say it was
No.
a good thing. They had to put a spin on it or just not cover it
yeah,
at all.
yeah,
And yeah, it's just like, I get it. A lot of times you don't want to talk positive about that guy based on how he conducted himself in
hmm
that position.
oh yeah,
But at the same time, if you want to be a respected news organization, yeah, you can have opinions and your op-ed pieces, but just like scientists, we want you to report on the facts. I don't want to hear just a clickbaity title that's all speculation and opinion and roasting people with no substance in the body. So it's just, yeah, I mean, Biden, he'll do no wrong in the eyes of the media
yeah,
because they wanted Trump out so badly.
yeah. It's really, I mean, it's really frustrating. I'm, I think
I don't even go to the news anymore, really.
I don't either. Well, I never have, to be honest. I was
Yeah.
never into the news and whatnot. Of late, like over the pandemic, I started listening to NPR some, which obviously they're still left leaning, and then PBS was another one that the News Hour that I did actually enjoy quite a bit. And as in they're kind of new, as they're one of the more neutral ones. I'll put it that way. Although admittedly that makes them more boring, right? Like they're not,
Yeah.
they don't post stuff, or as far as I know, they don't post a whole lot of stuff that's
Incendiary.
so one-sided, like what we just read with the Washington Post. So yeah, I mean the one that I tend to go to is that YouTuber that I told you
Yeah.
about, I think last time or the time before.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I mean, yeah, because I can't really rely on anything else, and it just makes you
Yeah.
kind of sick to your stomach. And also, like when you click on the articles, right? There's ads everywhere.
I know.
It's. I mean, they're legitimately getting destroyed, and they can't help themselves. Like, or the New York Times now has like a subscription base, or like
Mhm.
they're just trying to figure out a way to survive, and it's yeah, it's really unfortunate. I think I told you when this concept that I think that they should adopt when it comes to their finances is not base it off of the total amount of money that they make, but make it off of a projection of income that cuts away any sort of volatile income. And this actually went back to a previous point when the NBA was being squeezed by China. This was a few months back, where the the NBA was at odds with China, and they didn't want to continue like playing games there or something along those lines. And then China was like, okay, well, in that case, then we're not going to broadcast any of your stuff. And that was going to cost the NBA, I mean, just an insane amount of money because they have such a huge market there. So then my point there was like the NBA needs to start considering, like, okay, how much money are we actually going, how much money is like an acceptable, what's like the lower level of what's acceptable in terms of the amount of money that we're making. And that needs to be independent of China. And the same thing goes for these news organizations. They need to start creating systems that are more based on a base amount of money that they know they're going to make. Like, this is the amount that we know we're going to make. And stop trying to reach and try to continue to grow and grow and grow, or try to, because the only way that like that growth or that wanting to maintain that level of growth is only fueled by their ability to create these incendiary headlines and make themselves even more biased and like get more clicks and stuff like that. So it's not a model that's actually sustainable. But if you do have like a smaller news organization and they know what they're about, like we always have this like recurring revenue, and they're not trying to necessarily grow to be the biggest monstrosity ever, then I do feel like that allows them, A, to be more unbiased, and B, it also allows them to not have all these incendiary claims. And then ultimately that leads them to have much longer lifespan. I feel like CNN and Fox and CNBC and all these different news organizations, they're going out in like a blaze of glory, or not even glory. I mean, a blaze of shit, because everybody hates them. Yeah, everybody hates them, and it's becoming more and more apparent.
Yeah, they're a joke. They're all just jokes. It's like reality TV at this point.
Exactly.
You're just flashy, loud-mouthed, angry. Like, who gives a shit about your take anymore? Nobody does. Like, that's why podcasts are just kicking your ass now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's people who aren't qualified, you know, but their take is a lot more rational and understanding, and you can actually, you know, discuss and talk through an entire issue over however long you want to talk about it, other than these short segmented 5 to 10 minute segments. Like, we gotta go for commercial, like, let's get our last word in, okay, we gotta go, bye. Like, and it's just like, people don't need to put up with that. Like, I don't have cable anymore because I'm just sick to death of commercials. I just can't do it. I can't do it, and I won't do it. Because I don't need to do it. I don't know. I'm not paying to watch sports or all these things that I want to watch for half of that time to be dedicated to commercials about things I don't give a shit about. I'm not going to waste my money on that.
No, I completely agree. It is kind of a weird concept, isn't it? Like, we had this old system that was like you pay money for cable, and then you still get fed a ton of ads. And now the premium experience, right, on most places is like you pay and therefore you do not have ads. Except for, I will give one exception, is the Spotify, which I actually ran across this forum, this thread of these people complaining about Spotify, because if you pay for premium and you listen to the Joe Rogan Experience, they still have ads in that podcast. Oh, yeah. Which didn't like really hit me. And then I was like, wait a second, I am paying for premium, so why are there ads here? Yeah. And then the Spotify people were like, well,
you could fast forward through it.
Not even just that. They were saying, well, it's already part of his podcast. Like we don't have dedicated ads on Spotify, but the ads that are on the Joe Rogan Experience, he's reading those
within that episode.
Yeah, but then people were like, no, that's bullshit, because you're setting up, like, if you go to JRE at the beginning, it's not just him just reading through it like as it's like a stand like
A live
like a
thing, yeah.
part of the episode. They actually
It's pre-recorded.
created these segments
Yes.
that Spotify put in. So they clearly have control over the situation and could like get rid
Yeah,
of that,
it's like
but they don't.
CBD thing, and then it's like the next
Exactly.
one, and you
Yep.
just like keep going like this,
Yep.
boom, 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 through 5 of them, and then because it starts out with like da na na na, and then it's
Yep.
like we're brought to you by,
Yep.
and you're like, oh shit, I thought I was gonna just roll right into the episode
Yeah.
because I have the premium, but I guess not.
Yeah. You have to get super premium now.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that's how you make your money, and you can skip through it and stuff
But that's
with
I
podcasts,
don't see that's the thing. That's my point, right? Like Spotify has this system of recurring revenue, and they need to honor that of saying, hey, you're paying this amount of money for premium, therefore you will not get ads, and you get access to
yeah,
all our
have
stuff,
it in
right?
the link like CBD. Use this code. Like if you're reading the episode description in
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Spotify,
Sure.
yeah, have
Yeah.
it there, but
But
don't have it there
yeah,
if I'm
but
paying.
they're starting to try to be the sleazy, just like CNN, just like the NBA. They're not thinking about things in kind of this core, like this is how much money we're making if we hold true to our practices. What they're
Hmm.
trying to do now is try to expand. They're like, well, what happens if we maybe just
Yeah,
just throw an ad in there, and
yeah.
oh, what
We'll
we're gonna
make money
make
from them too.
we're going to make 16 more million dollars. Oh, well, let's try one more. Let's just see how much we can push
Yeah,
this until people like fight back and whatnot. And that's what I'm talking about. They need to make their projections and their models for their business growing based off of that core and just completely cut
yeah,
out, even if they're
yeah.
making like double what they're actually making because they're introducing these
People will be
ads or
loyal to it
whatever.
and recommend it more for the
Exactly. Yeah.
premium.
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
like, if you don't want to pay, then yeah, I get listening to the ads or having to scroll through the ads on his podcast
Hmm.
or, like, with any Apple one because it's free. But yeah, it's like, what am I paying for if I'm still having to listen to ads? Like, nobody wants to listen to ads.
And it's
No one.
free. Like
Yeah.
Spotify free version still allows you to access the Joe Rogan experience.
Yeah.
So Spotify
What's my
Premium,
incentive to pay? Because
exactly.
so many people are having Spotify Premium now because of him, you know.
Totally. Yeah. And they're so if you were there just for the Joe Rogan experience, you got ripped off.
Yeah.
There's no point for you to pay for premium. And that, it goes back to that like weird model like we had moved to your point earlier about like I'm not going to pay for like a ton of ads and stuff like that in TV in cable. Like we went from that like paying a ridiculous amount of money for essentially a ton of ads to then moving to this premium model where you're paying and the agreement is no ads. And now it's sliding back into, well, we're going to try and figure out a way to still make some money off of ads. Same thing. A great example of this. Another example of this is HBO Max. So I paid for the subscription or whatever for 6 months or whatever because they had this whole deal and whatnot. So I'm paying for their service, but before most of the movies and shows, they show an advertisement beforehand. Same thing with Amazon Prime Video. Like they're all trying to push something. They're all trying to just push the
Hmm.
envelope a little bit more.
Yeah, it's only going to increase, I feel like.
Oh yeah, yeah, it totally is. And then what's going to happen? Something else is going to come around. Something
Yeah,
else is going to come around, and it's going to be like going back in time to like the real
I know. It's
premium,
like now I have to,
or they're
now
going to have
I'm like,
premium plus or something.
yeah, or it's like now I'm just watching DVDs again. Like a schmuck.
Like a schmuck. No ad DVD, and then like 5 years down the road, DVDs start
Yeah,
having ads again.
it's
It,
crazy.
It's nuts. It's a constant battle between the consumer and the company.
I know, because it's like I want to watch Premier League. I want to watch NBA. I want to, be able to just see what's on, at any given time. But like Premier League is one thing. If I just had an app for that, it'd be beautiful because it's 45 minutes of nonstop action. You don't do commercials yet. I'm sure they'll figure out a way to have like in
Oh yeah.
golf, like they do, like half of it's golf, and then and then the screen will just go beep, and then this half is just like commercials playing with the noise, and then the golf is silent, but you can still
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're still keeping the golf on, I guess.
So you just scoot your chair closer to
Yeah.
that little tiny square.
It's pretty insane.
It
But I feel
is.
like they would do that with like soccer, the way that it's going
Oh,
now, as
they
far
will.
as like how much money they can make from it, and like I don't know. It just seems every single year it's different with Premier League. It's different on how you get it, on how you can stream it, who owns the rights to it. I mean, it's frustrating, and there's still no fans in the stadiums, which I guess I get. I don't know what the deal is in England as far as like vaccinations are going, but I'm sure it's going pretty well. I don't know,
Yeah, I
but
don't either.
yeah, it's like it just isn't the same really without fans. Soccer isn't, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like I just can't get super jacked up about it, especially a big game.
Yeah, I
There's
agree.
nobody in the stands, and like I get that they don't have them now, but hopefully by next season it will. Um, but yeah, speaking of that, I saw that so this in the Scottish Premier League, the team Celtic with
Hmm.
like the four-leaf clover. So they've won the Scottish Premier League for the past like 10 years, and their big rivals are Rangers, and they've just demolished them forever now. And Rangers haven't won anything for a while. And Steven Gerrard from Liverpool, after he retired, he became a manager at Rangers. And this year, like he took them, he might have managed them last year too, but this year they've already clinched the title, and they've taken it away from Celtic, who've
Oh wow.
kept it for about a decade.
Yeah.
And the rivalry between those two clubs is like massive, like historic, like Catholic versus Protestant type stuff. And 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 Rangers won, and I can't remember if Rangers are in Glasgow or Edinburgh, but yeah, because they haven't won in forever, like, and the fans are already rabid as is. Um, just the streets were just jammed with people, like pushing cars over and like
Of
getting
course.
wasted, lighting fires and flares and all this stuff, and it's just like the news and the actual club itself had to come out, the government, they're like, we strongly condemn like the actions of
I
these
love those.
people, and like it's like, give me a fucking break. Like, we haven't won the league in a decade. I'm sorry, but I'm going out. Like, I don't really give a shit. Clearly, these people don't care either. Like, we know the risks involved. Like, don't be that guy that's just like, oh, I mean, how dare they? Like, I don't know. It's
I
just,
love.
there's just a disconnect there that
I
I truly hate. And I'm
I
not
always.
encouraging that, but
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I always love like companies and stuff. Like the best they can do is just for them to make a stance. I mean, they're not really
yeah,
making. They're just saying a
yeah,
bunch of
we're
words like
deeply ashamed.
"we condemn it," and
Yeah.
it's just. I mean, you see that in politics all the time.
Oh
I
yeah.
condemn
Yeah.
it. It's just like, oh
This is
wow,
absolutely
oh.
outrageous.
And then what happens after that? Nothing. Nothing ever
Nothing.
happens. Yeah.
Nothing. They didn't care at all. It's
No, they
just
don't
like
care.
we have to show that we care. about
You
these
know
people
that club.
after this happened.
You know the
Like,
Rangers club is just like fuck yeah, like oh we
oh, of
just made
course.
we're so happy we made so much money. This is just gonna add to it, like
Yeah, we're
oh
gonna be playing in the Champions League next year. Like,
yeah
this is gonna rock. Like, we're making so much money. Like, we're happy for our fans who've been like so depressed forever. We beat Celtic. Fuck those guys. Like,
yeah
it's just there's so many elements to it. It goes back to the 1800s for these people,
hmm
and like that's all they've got in some situations. And it's just like when Liverpool won the Premier League last year. It's the first time they've won it, since it's been the Premier League in the early 90s.
hmm
You think people from Liverpool are not going to go out and celebrate that? Like, it just trying to stop them from doing it and like making them feel like they're murdering people for doing it. Like, go F yourself, dude. Like, we're getting hammered.
yeah
We're lighting stuff on fire. Like, we don't care. Like, clearly, we're not the type of people that, like, I don't know. It's just, it definitely rubs me the wrong way when people just, like, obviously you want to be safe and you don't want to do this really. Like, in the end of the day, you don't want to be, like, shirtless and everybody out there with no mask screaming and chanting and, sharing bottles of liquor with everybody, but it is what
yeah
it is. Like, what are you going to do? Like, if you try to stop it, it's just going to be worse.
yeah
Like, it's just people trying to celebrate. They've been cooped up for a year. Like,
yeah
just let it happen.
I think as a club the better response is to be like fuck yeah we we're so happy about this, we're so happy you're so happy about this, just keep these like few things in mind, try to wear a mask, like enjoy yourself, but like yeah obviously it's still kind of a platitude, you're still just kind of saying
Yeah,
the
you're
stuff
just
that you're
saying it. Yeah.
but at least it's more of just like a hey we're
We
on your
didn't,
side, we want you to have fun,
right.
you deserve
We
this,
know you're going to do stuff.
exactly, like don't
Yeah.
pretend like it, like don't do it like
Yeah. This is just outrageous. How could you?
yeah right
We won the league and you celebrated? Like, come on. What do you
yeah
think's gonna happen?
yeah
It's just crazy to me.
we will
Um,
personally celebrate on our yachts.
yeah, exactly. But, but yeah, so that kind of reminds me of something that happened in the soccer and NBA world, where you were talking about when the NBA kind of bent over for China,
Oh yeah.
um, and nobody took a stand except for that Rockets owner, and then people just like shit on him, like
Yeah.
LeBron. Um, well, I don't know if you saw where Zlatan came out.
Oh yeah, against LeBron.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was just like politics should be handled by politicians, and athletes should just focus on playing sports and
Mm.
inspiring people on the field rather than off the field. And I don't really know where I stand with that. I mean, because today you can be so influential based on these massive platforms that people now have, can
Mm.
extend to a global audience. Is it their responsibility because of that? No. I mean, if they want to do stuff like that, I'm fine with that. But I mean, I can see both arguments really. I don't know what you think.
Oh, I'm completely on LeBron's side. I think LeBron has done such great things for the society in general and just like spoken out in just such eloquent ways and great ways that I mean I think Zlatan is 100% in the wrong. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, just because he doesn't have anything to fight for, like imagine that. Like imagine if you have something that like your people are being persecuted for, or like you like things are just so unfair, or like you're just in this, your people are in such a shitty situation, and then
But that's the
some
thing. He does have that where it's like he immigrated from like the Balkan region,
mm,
like Serbia, Croatia, that area, and to Sweden when he was a kid, and he's publicly talked about like the racial abuse that he received and like the whole like genocide and war that took place in that time when his family was trying to leave that area. It's like you do have something that you've talked about before and you
So I
can
don't get
still.
it then. So why
Yeah, I
was he
know. I
critical?
know. I don't know. I mean, that's something that actually I think LeBron even pointed out about him after the fact because it
Oh,
was just so long ago that Zlatan, he wasn't like I'm standing up for my people back home. Like this is like he didn't say it like that, but he was like, yeah, I definitely experienced all this type of stuff. And so his argument was like, I mean, dude, like you've seen intolerance and you've seen that, and like if you could try to stop that or try to lessen it, why wouldn't you, sort of thing. And
right.
I don't think he really responded to that. But yeah, I mean, I get it, especially now where it's like LeBron has built all these schools and he's trying to do more things outside of basketball,
Yeah.
especially when his career ends. And if it's positive, I mean, what's the problem?
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine saying that to like Muhammad Ali, right? Or
Yeah,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You know these people that have just like had such a huge influence in the
right.
sports world in terms of like getting the injustices out there, especially Muhammad Ali, right? Who
Oh
ended
yeah,
up in jail for a while because he refused to go fight.
it's
Um,
stripped of his title.
yeah, yeah, which that doesn't mean jack shit to me. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
another thing that I don't understand. Like, you
Oh, that
win
was
the
just them.
fight,
That was just them being mad. Just like,
yeah,
screw
but
this guy.
I feel like that's another example of just like a bunch of words that mean nothing at all. Like, I mean, you win a fight or whatever it might be, and you win the title, and then you say something, and then they're like, no. And they just
Yeah,
take it like
yeah.
everybody saw you win the fight, like millions of people. So you won the title. Like there's no
People
there's
know that you're a champion.
exactly that's the
Yeah, you
point.
don't need a belt to prove that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and
It's so ridiculous.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess the only other thing I don't know. I mean, I'm not agreeing with Zlatan on this, but I don't know. It just depends what issue you're talking about because everybody can be a hypocrite at some point or
Totally.
another, and he certainly was probably in this situation based on his past experience. But also LeBron has been a hypocrite when it comes to the China situation
Oh
because
yeah,
like you can clearly see what's going on in Hong
absolutely.
Kong, in China, and you're going to just be silent about that issue because it affects your bottom line.
Oh,
So it's
100%.
just like you're picking and choosing, and I'm not like I'm saying like if that's going to guarantee you $50 more million to keep your mouth shut, then people are probably going to do that. So I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like yeah, everybody can be hypocritical about things in their life, and if he wants to do other things that he really believes will impact his community and people in a positive way for many, many years to come, then good on him if he can do it. And he wants to do it and he wants to do it the right way, then why should I stop him? Now, if he wants to, you know, make, you can make whatever statement you want to make, no matter who you are. You have more influence if you're a famous athlete, obviously, and you can run the risk of alienating a large group of people if you make a post or a comment about a political issue that you might not know 100% about. It might
Mm,
just be reactionary
true.
and emotional. So I don't know. Just because you're this high on the totem pole to everyone on a global stage doesn't make you um, an expert in every field. Just because everybody knows who you are doesn't mean that your opinion is fact on every single issue,
Mm-hmm.
social or political. So
Yeah.
people might be carried away with that, and I can see where Zlatan's coming from on that side, but I don't know exactly what it was directed toward at all. Um, and then you got people like Messi and Ronaldo, and they've done so many good things probably with their humanitarian efforts, but you never see Messi coming out as far as like political beliefs or things like that. So it's just person to person, really. Like
Yeah.
Michael Jordan didn't. Um, he was famous about not trying to disrupt. Like I think the famous quote was like in North Carolina in the '80s, like Jesse Helms was running against this black guy for governor, and it would have been the first black governor, and he was a Democrat, and they're like, can you come out against Holmes or come out in favor of this guy? And he's like, Republicans buy shoes too. And it was just like, damn, that's cold.
Yeah, that's cool, Mike.
That's cold
Oh
blooded.
man. Oh man. Um, I
And
think.
I'm not saying that's right to do that, but
Oh, I
it's
am.
up to the person.
I totally am. Yeah, that's my stance. Right. It's up to the person.
Yeah.
Like if the per, Mike is just being a business person in that
Yeah.
situation. He's thinking about his
Yeah.
bottom line, which is fine. It's selfish, but this idea of like being selfish, like you can never be selfish. I
Yeah.
completely disagree
Yeah.
with that too. Like so he's
Totally.
just choosing the business route. LeBron is for the most part not choosing the business route until it came to, as you pointed out, the China situation.
Hmm.
Um, Honestly, if you want to be a really noble person, like down to your core, where you stand up for all the injustices, you're going to be poor. You're going to make very
Hmm.
little money, like if you're in that situation, because
Yeah.
at least by comparison to what you could make by just closing your eyes and just no, 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 and
Hmm.
just plugging your ears. Because, I mean, the NBA just didn't want to lose China. And that's my whole point. Same thing with LeBron, even on an individual level. You have to just think in your head, okay, if I need to cut this entity out, how much money do I truly have? That I feel is conscientiously acceptable. Like if you make, let's say, $8 million. Let's say he makes $8 million, which is way less than what he actually makes. But let's just say $8 million, and I can actively say no to white supremacy. I can say actively no to the Uyghur
Muslim.
tortures and all that stuff, and I can say actively no to all these different situations. But this base amount of money is what I'm going to make if when I say actively no to all these injustices. That's that's a foundational amount of money that isn't going to go away. And then on top of that, it's like bonuses. If you end up deciding, oh, I'm going to close my eyes about the Uyghur situation. Oh, suddenly I'm making $40 million. Oh, suddenly, it's their
Hmm.
choices that we're making. So is LeBron noble in every way? No, he's not. He's helped and is noble and is fantastic and is self-interested in a good way towards African Americans, as he should be. I mean, he sees that there's this injustice happening and he speaks out about it and he works at it, and for impoverished youth, and like he's all over the place in America for all these different reasons, and that's really commendable. But clearly, as you point out, he's definitely still a hypocrite because
Hmm.
of the China situation. The NBA is a hypocrite because of the China
Yeah.
situation. They're picking and choosing their battles. They're not pure. And on the other
Hmm.
hand, you've got Mike, who is the shittiest in every category, but he never pretended like he cared. Like
Exactly. It's
his
like,
whole MO is just money. I want to make money. That's it. Republicans
yeah,
buy shoes too.
Yeah, and it's like, why the hell do you want, like, it's like, why do you even give a shit about my opinion as well? Because I just play basketball. Like, at the end of the day, like, they must be asking themselves, or he must have asked himself, like, I get it that I have a lot of influence over a lot of people, and like people like will listen when I talk, but to pretend that I'm an expert in like these big issues
Hmm.
or this political understanding of like a 30-year politician or whatever in whatever field, like it's like, dude, like that's not what I am doing this for. I'm doing it because I love playing basketball and I'm really good at it. That doesn't qualify me to talk about coronavirus or this at an expert level. Like,
Right.
sure, I can give an opinion, but don't get all pissed off when it's like, when you're like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, remember at the end of the day, my job is to play basketball. Like, that's my number one job.
Yeah.
I don't have a responsibility to anything else other than that and myself. Now you can do what you want, but it's just like Jurgen Klopp, the manager for Liverpool. Like I can't remember what issue it was, but he's just like, "Why are you asking me about that? Like I coach a soccer team. Like what are
Yeah.
you asking me this for?" Like, and I totally would understand that frustration, and I also understand people wanting to know these high-profile people's opinions on
Yep.
these big issues too. So there's definitely like
Hmm.
a paradox going on. So it's just hard. It's just a hard one to tackle. But yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of soccer, actually, this reminded me the German national team head coach is stepping down. You have
Yeah, I
any
saw
thoughts on
that.
that?
He's stepping down after the next Euros, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably about time for him to step down. It's probably one of the longest like international coaching runs ever, I would think.
How long has
You
it
know,
been?
since 2008, I think,
Yeah, something like that.
because Klinsmann was '06
Oh,
World Cup,
yeah,
and he
right.
was the assistant, and then he took over, I think, in the next Euros in '08 maybe, and Klinsmann became U.S. coach.
U.S. coach, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been, and he's won the Euros. He's won the World Cup. I don't even know if, has he won the Euros?
That
I
I
don't
don't
know, but
know.
he won the World Cup, in 2014. And after that, it's been a little bit of a, like the last World Cup, it was like, oh, Germany, they're going to be a favorite again. And they kind of crashed out. Um, and haven't done well in the Euros, and like a lot of their star players are too old or retired to be on international duty anymore. Um, so you probably need a fresh manager in there. I would say. I think he's done well, but it's time to move on.
Okay. I have nothing to add.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. There's speaking about soccer still. There's a good documentary on Pele on Netflix now, brand new. So everybody obviously has heard the name Pele, but probably not many people know the story, the impact, the legend of Pele,
Hmm.
and it does a really good job of like highlighting actually how big of a star he was even back in the 50s, 60s, 70s in Brazil and on a worldwide stage because he won the World Cup 3 times, which has never been done by another player before. So um, definitely recommend it for anybody who's slightly interested in the history of soccer and in Brazil and Pele. And it really just highlighted for me like Brazil as a sporting nation in
Mm-hmm.
general. Like, I've always noticed like Brazilians do things in sports with not just passion, but like joy, like true joy and flair and rhythm. It's almost like samba music meets sports. It's like when you watch Ronaldinho, it's like he's almost dancing out there, and like the way he moves, and just the flair, and he's always smiling, having a good time. Like that just defines like the Brazilian like attitude for me. Like dead serious, amazing athletes, but at the same time, like we're just having fun. And like that's why I love watching Brazil play whenever they play soccer, or just highlights of old, clips of him or any other Brazilian player. And then how much of a connection they have with the national team and with the country themselves. Like they're just absolute like superstar gods in their country. Like no matter what sport it is, like when Ayrton Senna died, the F1 driver, there was like 3 million people along the streets of Rio just in his funeral procession. And I imagine the same will be true of Pele when he dies. I mean, the whole country will shut down, and it'll just be a huge thing. And it's like what happened when Maradona passed away. There's just something about Latin countries that they're just more passionate about certain things, whether it's more, they get more upset or they get happier and just enjoy the different peaks and valleys of life more than just the white man.
Yeah, you're right. I think your description of Ronaldinho, which is the one that I can image, is
Yeah.
definitely right. He does. When he played, he had this like dance about him.
Yeah. Yeah. Super unique player
Yeah.
who enjoyed on the field and off the field antics alike.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know anything about his off the field antics.
That's like him, and then Ronaldo, um, the striker for Brazil, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
It's like people always wonder, like, I mean, they're some of the greatest players in the history of the game, hands down. But would they have been maybe a step better? Would their careers be a bit longer if they weren't also like, just like love to party, you know, after a game, or show up late to practice? Like, it's all good. And like you look at Cristiano Ronaldo, it's like he's in the building at 5 a.m. Like he's like a Kobe Bryant type guy, where it's like, I've got the talent and I'm going to like preserve this as long as possible. Whereas those guys, it's like, if I don't play tomorrow, that's fine. Like, and I can party, like I'll
Yeah.
wing it kind of thing, like, cause they
Yeah.
were that good. Um, but they wouldn't be the characters that they are to everybody's memory now. So I wouldn't change it.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. And you do also have
Maradona,
to.
same way.
Yeah. You have to look back at your life too and make sure that you don't feel like you regretted it. I mean,
Yeah.
being in that
I mean, I'm sure
position,
some do.
having that much power, having that much influence, just being uh, loved by an entire country to that degree. I mean, could you imagine like becoming a recluse for 12, 15 years of your life in your 20s and 30s?
No,
You
yeah.
know, I mean,
And yeah, especially like Brazil has like that whole carnival culture, and
mm,
like it's just, yeah, that's tough. Like as a teenager, like Neymar, like he was 16 and he was already like a superstar in Brazil. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, just like I'm going home. I need to,
I need to sleep. I
recover.
need to do my homework. I need to go to sleep.
And education is still important to me.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way, like I enjoy players who really do go off the rails sometimes and you know, like to party and like enjoy their successes, like Dennis Rodman and stuff, like he still showed up, he still did his job, but he was like, I'm going to work hard, but you better believe I'm going to party hard too.
Yeah.
So there's a time and place for everything. Just depends on who you are, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't be like Mike or Kobe or LeBron. Great example as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's
Um,
what, 35. He's got like the second most minutes logged this season in the NBA
yeah.
behind like Jokic. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It is nuts. I think he's trying to catch Kareem for the most
Oh
points
yeah.
ever. I
Which
hope
I
he
have that
doesn't get
pulled
there.
up right now.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So Kareem has played 1,560 games in his whole career, and he's got 38,387 points. Um, Next is Karl Malone, 1,476 games played, 54,852. Then LeBron, 1,301 games played, 49,795. So he's still almost 8,000 points away from Kareem with about 260 games less played. So, let's see. Yeah, that's like if he plays 260 more games, he's going to have to average 30 points a game. But I imagine he'll play more than that.
I imagine, but I can't see him
Oh
averaging
no.
30 points a game
No.
for the next, because that's what, 3 seasons, over 3 seasons. I
I
mean,
don't know how many
he doesn't even average 30 points
how
right
many
now,
games
or
are in a
never.
season? 72?
84, I think. 84.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The hell am I talking about?
Well,
84 games.
they've changed it. Like, well, I mean, just like this past, like the last year and like this year, it was all truncated. So
No, that's
I
3
think,
seasons almost exactly.
yeah, yeah. So
So he'd have to
he,
play 4 seasons
and
more.
how old is he? Is he 35 or
Well,
36?
he's 35, I believe. So he's going to have to at least play after this because we're just in the second half now of this season.
Yeah.
At least 3 more after this to do it. And
So
at a pretty high level still.
so he'd be like 38, 39,
Yeah.
averaging 30 points a game.
Not going to happen. And the
No.
craziest stat, well, one of the craziest is Michael Jordan's fifth, and he only played 1,072 games in his career and had 32,292 points. His career average was 30 points a game,
Mm-hmm.
his whole career.
Yeah.
Which, if he played the amount of games that LeBron has currently played, 1,301, he would be in the like almost 40,000 points, far and away number one on the list.
Wow.
So
True.
he took like a season and a half off for baseball, and then
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have all the recovery type things that LeBron has, but even if he did, I don't know if he would have really done them to the extent LeBron has. Not that
I
Michael
don't think
didn't
so.
work his ass off, but
Yeah.
he also partied more than LeBron did. I can guarantee
Definitely.
you that
Definitely.
during the season.
During this. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's just a little interesting stat there.
I think when everything's said and done, we're gonna have to pick a time frame for LeBron and a time frame for Michael Jordan and compare them.
Oh yeah.
Because you can't, like, sure, obviously LeBron has the longevity, right? I mean, there's no denying
Yeah.
that. But that's not how statistics work. You
Mm-mm.
base it off of, you have to standardize it, normalize it. So yeah, it'll be interesting because kind of like what you just did, right? Like you showed that uh, at the trajectory that Michael Jordan was playing, he was scoring 30 points. He was an average 30 point per game scorer, which is insane. That's really incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's just interesting to look at this list overall. It's pretty some surprising names in positions I wouldn't have maybe thought, but like Vince Carter's 19 all time. Paul Pierce is 16. Carmelo's 12. Dirk is 6. Patrick Ewing 23. Larry Bird's 34, but he only played 897 games. Everybody else on this list is over 1,000. So that's interesting too. But yeah, it's hard to compare people from different eras sometimes
Oh yeah, for
because we'll
sure.
never know. I mean, I know.
Yeah, I mean, apart from you though, like that's always the
Yeah,
given.
yeah. Like if they played, but you never play basketball one on one. Like that's just not how it is.
I think that's what I love about basketball, though, because it is only 5 players. Technically, the one player can take over an entire game,
Yeah,
which you don't get in football. I love
no,
football, but that's the one element that's really missing. Like
it's a
NBA
team
players are
thing.
more exciting to me
Oh yeah,
because if this person is in the lineup, that could literally change the entire game. I mean,
yeah,
a team can go from being definitely going to lose to there's a good chance they're going to win.
yeah. And they talk about it in the book Freakonomics when they talk about like a soccer team. You know, 11 people on the field versus another
Mm.
11. Um, you don't like you can have two superstars on one team. Like, I mean, take for like the last year's Champions League final, like PSG played Bayern, and PSG has Neymar and Mbappe, and they're two of some of the best players on the planet. Like, but Bayern as a team, they're all like at an average like 8.5 out of 10. Like every position is like covered
Yeah.
really expertly well. Maybe not like they might have like one guy who's a 9 or a 10, like Lewandowski or something. But aside from that, they're solid everywhere. Whereas PSG, it's like you got two tens, then you got a 6 here, an 8 here, a 7 here, a 5.5. It's just like you definitely have a better chance as a team unit. And some freak games can happen, obviously, but that's why Bayern won pretty handily that game. And then basketball, they talk about, like the year that the Cavs won, where it's like, yeah, one guy can just absolutely dominate a series or a game and switch the whole thing up. Like you just said, where LeBron took a pretty, I mean, he had Kyrie and Kevin Love, but against that Warriors team, it was like he had to be perfect to win. It didn't
Yeah.
matter what his other teammates did at that point. It was like, I'm just going to win this game myself. And he did.
Yeah. Another great example is the Kobe 81 game.